Hello Year 3 and welcome to your next English lesson. Today we're going to be writing in the first person. Before I explain that though, we have two short activities to complete first. I have written a sentence on the board. She went there in April. She went there in April. There are 3 mistakes in that sentence. Can you rewrite the sentence correctly? She went there in April. Can you correct that sentence? If you're unsure, I'm going to give you a few extra clues. If you think you've got an idea of some of those mistakes, pause the video now and try and rewrite that sentence. If you are unsure, I'm going to give you a few extra clues now. There are 2 spelling mistakes and a punctuation mistake. 2 spelling mistakes and a punctuation mistake. That might give you a little bit of an idea now of some of those mistakes and how to correct them. Pause the video and try and correct those mistakes, and I'll add the correct answers to the board. Well done, Year 3. Well done if you noticed these mistakes. Went was spelt incorrectly. There is not a H, which is a mistake we sometimes forget. There was also spelt incorrectly. It was missing an E off the end. And April is the name of a month and it needs to have a capital letter. Well done if you noticed any of those mistakes. The next sentence is actually at the top of your sheet for today. Ben saw a small squirrel. It makes perfect sense, but what I'd like you to do is try and start the sentence a different way. We have really worked hard on this. I've noticed lots of people trying to do this in their own writing. You might start by saying when Ben saw the squirrel. We might start by saying where Ben was when he saw the squirrel. It just gives you an idea of how to start the sentence a different way. And you can try and do that for both those sentences. You can improve it in another way if you like, but can you try and begin that sentence a different way? Thinking about maybe when it is happening or where it is happening. Have a go, pause the video, and I'll add my answer to the board as well. Pause the video now. After dinner, Ben saw a small squirrel. So I've just started the sentence by saying when it was happening, after dinner. Today, we're going to be writing in the first person. You will have done this lots before without even realising that's what it's called. When you're writing in the first person, you are writing about yourself. You'll be using words like I, me, and my. I've written 3 sentences on the board, and we're going to change them into the first person. So you are writing about yourself. At the minute, this says, he went on the swing. He went on the swing. How could we change that so it's now written in the first person? So you're writing about yourself. Instead of he went on the swing, well done if you're at home and you're saying, I went on the swing. So we've just changed the word he, as if we were talking about somebody else, to now I, because we're talking about ourselves. I went on the swing. This next one's a little bit trickier. She dried her hair. How would we change that? So you were talking about yourself. There may be 2 words you have to change this time. You can pause the video, have a think about it. At the minute, it says she dried her hair. Can we change it? So instead of talking about somebody else, we're talking about ourselves. Well done if you are saying, I dried my hair. Very well done. That's in the first person. Like you would write a postcard, you'd be talking about yourself. If you wrote in your diary, you'd be talking about yourself. That's writing in the first person. His brother was asleep. His brother was asleep. What if you were talking about yourself? It's not his brother. It would be, think about that word at the beginning. How would this sentence change if we're now talking about ourselves? At the minute it says his brother was asleep. We would change that to my brother was asleep. Very well done if you managed to change any of those sentences. So the key thing to remember today, when you're writing in the first person, it just means you're writing about yourself. You'll be using the words I, me, and my. Your task for today, there are the 2 sentences at the top to begin a different way, as we've spoken about in the video. Then there are 4 sentences. You have to change them so that they're written in the first person. So you're writing about yourself, exactly like we did on the board, just for these first 4 sentences. Once you've done that, there's a little space here for you to write about your favourite day at school. So again, you'd be writing in the first person. You'll be writing about yourself. So I might write, my favourite day at school was when we played house matches. I liked watching the matches and I saw lots of tries. So I was writing about myself, and that's what you will do. And there are further activities at the bottom as well. And one final thing where you can continue the story for the next 4 or 5 lines if you finish all of that first. Do try and complete the activities in the video each time, year 3, as it's often recapping things that we have done, and it's really useful for me to see. Thank you, and please come on to Google Meet so we can discuss your work as well.